appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the worst in the business.
Oh, that's going to get tired if it's not already. Just calling someone fake news because they held you accountable, because they asked you a question you are either not equipped, character-wise or knowledge-wise to answer.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Calling her fake news, that lady, that correspondent, White House correspondent for ABC, her name is Mary Bruce. She's an award-winning journalist. She's an actual journalist. She actually asks questions that matter, and you couldn't answer them or didn't want to as president of the United States of America, as he sat there next to the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. By the way, 19 of those hijackers that flew planes into the World Trade Center, that flew a plane into the Pentagon, that flew a plane that did not quite make it to its destination and crashed in a field in Pennsylvania, 19 of them came from Saudi Arabia. Where was Osama bin Laden from? Where was Osama bin Laden from? And what did Jared Kushner, why did he get $2 billion? And what happened to Jamal Khashoggi? All of those were very fair questions. Mary Bruce asked him to his face. Who is Jamal Khashoggi? I'm going to remind you, on October 2nd, 2018, a Saudi dissident journalist was killed by agents of the Saudi government at the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. It's now called Turkey. Used to be Turkey. Now it's Turkey. According to published reports, Khashoggi was ambushed and strangled by a 15-member squad of Saudi operatives. It took 15 men to grab up one journalist, and here's what they did. I'm sure they beat him first, and then they dismembered his body and then disposed of it in a way that has never been publicly revealed. Some people said they put his body in boxes and took it out like they were files in from a file cabinet, took his body pieces out. The consulate had been secretly bugged by the Turkish government. And that's the only reason why we know they had a bug listening in, and Khashoggi's final moments were captured in an audio recording, and then transcripts were subsequently made public. So there's no denial. The New York Times reported in June 2019 that the Saudi government engaged in an extensive effort to cover up the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, including destroying evidence. Sound familiar? It's about to be the same with the Jeffrey Epstein files. Just a little foreshadowing of what people do when they are tyrannical in their ruling. October 16th. Separate investigations by Turkish officials and the New York Times concluded that the murder was premeditated and that some members of the Saudi hit team were closely connected to Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, who was today sitting next to the president of the United States. Very, very cozy. They were sitting there cozying up to one another. After repeatedly shifting its account of what happened to Jamal Khashoggi in the days following his killing, his murder, his brutalization, his dismemberment, the Saudi government admitted on October 25th that he had been killed in a premeditated murder, but denied that the killing took place on the orders of bin Salman. Bin Salman said he accepted responsibility for the killing because it happened under his watch. So it's a mea culpa, but I had no finger, no hands. I threw a rock. I'm hiding my hands. I didn't really have anything to do with it, but it was on my watch, so I take responsibility. Jamal Khashoggi was a prominent journalist who actually was very close to the Crown Prince and his family. 59 years old. He was super close to the royal family, served as an advisor to the government. So guess what Jamal Khashoggi knew? Stuff, information, inside information. And he's a journalist. He fell out of favor and then went into exile here in the United States in 2017. And then he wrote a monthly column in the Washington Post in which he criticized the policies of the Crown Prince, which included things like, the role of women and what they could and could not do and things like that, even though they looked at him as being someone that was going to soften the rules a little bit and let women drive and all this other stuff. And I'm sure other corrupt things. And Khashoggi wrote in the Post in 2017 that he feared that he would be arrested if he ever stepped foot back on Saudi ground, and because the Crown Prince's regime, they were cracking down on dissent. And dissent looks like Jasmine Crockett, by the way. Dissent looks like Urban View, by the way. Dissent looks like anyone who is sitting in the gap, speaking truth to power and telling the truth about a thing. That's what dissent looks like. And by the way, my African name means she who brings the gift of truth. I'm so grateful to Dr. Daniel Black for that, because it's absolutely that. Yeah, that's what dissent is. So are you a dissenter? And are you a dissenter under a tyrannical rule, under fascism, where you could be snatched up for asking a question like the bold journalist just did of this president? Shout out to her, because she put her whole entire organization in the crosshairs of this very fragile, very, very thin-skinned, very small, very tiny, tiny person who happens to have enormous power. Mary Bruce still asks the question. And that is what a journalist is supposed to do, by the way. We're in a time where we're going to see who's really a journalist. ABC, the organization, bent the knee. They gave money when they could have fought the wrongful suit that Trump brought against them. They could have fought that and won in a court because the law's on their side. But instead, they capitulated and they settled. But Mary Bruce was like, "No, I'm going to ask these questions. We'll see what happens to her. We'll see whether ABC is going to stand on business. We're going to see." But she asked the question that she was supposed to ask when you are in front of the Crown Prince and the President of the United States and you know something went down because it's been reported. Why was the Crown Prince at the White House today? Well, Trump was speaking during this meeting. Trump, well, before we get to that, I don't know why Trump had to get involved with something like whether or not the Crown Prince was guilty. But then he had the audacity to try to defend the prince and suggest that Jamal Khashoggi had it coming. It reminds me of Kevin Leary. There's a clip going around of Kevin Leary on CNN on one of those WWE back and forths that they do on CNN nowadays. And he had the audacity to talk about the victims of Epstein and was talking about Prince Andrew. And Anna Navarro had to remind the victims of the girls and the women that have been trafficked by Epstein. Andrew's not a victim? Are you serious? And with a straight face, though. With a straight face, he was talking about the victims, the actual people on the list as victims. Like, we're in bizarro world, and the only way to make it right is for us to tell the truth. All of us to be in agreement that the truth is important. So we're going to be in agreement here on Urban View. And if you don't like it, find some place to tell lies. There's plenty of them. Find a place that gives you kicks and giggles and tickles your fancy, places that don't make you so uncomfortable. This ain't going to be that. We're going to double down on the truth. We're going to double down on making sure that you know what the hell you need to know moving forward. And I think this Khashoggi exchange is super important because journalism, you heard him. As soon as she asked that question, instead of answering, where are you from? ABC? Oh, that's fake news. Because he has already told Nancy Stahl and others that that's the way that you neutralize the press. You discredit them so that people don't believe anything, but we're smarter than he is. We know what he's doing. This is a tactic. And no, you're not going to shut people up. I think more of us need to talk more. More of us need to talk more, louder. Let's go. So he was there for that. He was also there because there's going to be some sort of deal. And I'm confused by this. They're discussing closer economic ties. Why do we have economic ties with a country that sent 19 people over here, allegedly? I don't know whether they sent them, but 19 of those hijackers that flew planes on 9/11 into our buildings and into a field were from Saudi Arabia. But we're going to have economic ties. And what did Jared Kushner do with the $2 billion? Why did he even get that? Anyway, Saudi is going to be investing $1 trillion into the United States. Into the United States or into Trump's pockets? Into the United States or into Trump's coffers? Into the United States or into Trump businesses? Into the United States, what does that even mean? $1 trillion into the United States? Please tell us. Give us the details. Give us the detail. That's another question. What are the details? And Cristiano Ronaldo will be supposedly appearing, if he has not already appeared, because if I'm being honest, I'm not watching around the clock what the hell's going on in this fake leadership that we have. Speaking of fake leadership, Cristiano Ronaldo, why is he coming? Because he is the highest paid athlete in the world, and you know we like to be entertained. This man signed, what was it, $460 million? 2 year, 400. He is the highest paid. He made $280 million, $230 million in the contract that he signed with Saudi Arabia's football club, which is soccer to us because, you know, we're contrarians, Al Nassr. He's going to be there because, you know how they love their celebrity and their athletes. You know how they love their athletes unless, especially it's like, I want to say it's buck breaking, but right here, I don't want to use that language, but it is this obsession with the bodies of athletes and, it's giving something. Okay, it's giving. I think, all right, let me stay on message here. But it's hard. It's hard to. All right, Karen, stay on message. All right, 866-801-8255 is the number. So the Crown Prince was there, and again, we don't know why Jared Kushner is doing all of the things. But here's what Trump had to say to defend the Crown Prince against the accusations that he has something to do with Jamal Khashoggi's murder. Play that.
He's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
No, you don't have to embarrass him. So he's supposed to just come and you got the press there. So is it the press or is it state sanctioned? Is this some sort of, propaganda? Do we have like propaganda operatives or is it the media? Is it the press? What is this? Embarrassed? He shouldn't be embarrassed to answer a question from the media. Oh, in his country, this is not allowed. You get chopped up and put in boxes and in his country, you're not supposed to be asking real questions. You're supposed to be doing WWE. Supposed to be posturing, pretending to do media. So I want to thank Mary Bruce today, and I want to say her name. I want to thank her for actually asking questions, even though he didn't answer. You did your job, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. More of this. More of this. By the way, we should be demanding more of this. We should be rewarding more of this.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.